Hey, it's LJ, and welcome to another episode of LJ Reacts. For those of you not familiar, this is my little YouTube channel where I do reaction videos to various things in pop culture I seem to have missed in the last sort of 10 to 15 years, just due to the fact I've been more focused on trying to grow up. How's that working for me? Well, I'm sitting here trying to produce a YouTube reaction video, so going brilliantly. You can, of course, check out all the stuff on my channel. I've done uh 30 odd sort of videos so far that are either up there or in some stage nearing completion. So yeah, if you like what you see, don't forget, check out the rest of my videos. And of course, like, share, subscribe. And if there's anything you want to see me cover, chuck it in the comments below. I will read it. And if it's something that piques my interest and it's not something I'm really familiar with, I will give it a shot. You can, of course, like me on all the social medias. Should you want to see me in person or just find out about any of my other outside of this sort of little projects, they're all on my little link tree just there. And of course, if you found something changed down the back of your sofa and you don't know what to do with it, well, I hate to be that guy, but I've got my little tip jar just there. Uh, for like the price of a coffee, you can, I don't know, buy me a couple of mineral waters, I guess. Um, so yeah, with that out of the way, let's move on to what we're doing today. As I am doing this, I'm just putting the final touches to the Len Davies invitation for Dream video, which I think probably went up just before this one. Um, and trip short, I enjoyed doing it. It was a tribute to a friend, and it was just nice. It was just really beautifully but well put together music. Um, But I sort of watching it, I was thinking I didn't really sort of cover. I sort of covered more who Len was to me than who Len was in general, and I don't want to do the guy a disservice. So this video is going up about the time of his funeral. Unfortunately, I can't make it because it's in Burbank, and I'm frankly not. Yeah, a short a short notice trip to Los Angeles was really not in the cards for me. Which is a shame. It would have been nice to be there. But all the people who knew Len the way I knew Len probably are in the same boat. So it would have been awkward because I would have just, I, other than meeting his son a couple of times when he was a teenager, wouldn't really know anyone. That would just, I just feel awkward. um, which is have all the emotions you want at a funeral. It's not it. So I'm just chucking this up now. Just so I can sort of go, just because like I said, I enjoyed the invitation for Dream Soundscape. I mean, I've heard, like I said, I listened to a lot of the some of the live tracks he did when he was rehearsing for the live album he did, which is where I got the version of Invitation for Dream that went in the credits for that last video. And so Invitation to Dream did, where it's more soundscape, it did seem to be a bit more out live because the rest of the music seemed to be more sort of classic rock, more sort of the stuff I'd probably listen to if I heard it on the radio. So yeah, I'm going back, giving it another go. Um, so I've pulled up. There is a playlist on YouTube. It is under the channel name Len Davis dash topic. Something I think they pick. I think they deal with a lot of smaller artists because I've seen other lesser known artists that I like have a topic page on YouTube. So yeah, they've got um obviously the Invitation Dream album, they've got his live album, and they've got two wrestling theme albums he did up on there. So I clicked on the Invitation for Dream album, and basically I've picked out what has the most views. So uh, realized that I've not got the right screen up. So yeah, this is so I'm going to be covering today. Len Davis dropped me a line, which I probably could have done more towards the end, but that's the thing. Um, but yeah, like I said, I while I covered um who he was to me, don't know if I don't think I really explained very well who the guy was outside of being someone I've worked with in the past. Um, Len Davis is probably best known by anyone uh outside of the little outside of the wrestling business. He's probably known to the British fans as the creator of RQW, Real Quality Wrestling, who um well, he wasn't the creator. He bought the name, and his intention was to create fantastic production levels for British wrestling. And compared to what he was, compared to what there was leading up to that, he more than achieved that. I did a obituary on the Wrestling 20 YRS 20 sorry, the Wrestling 20 years ago podcast Facebook feed, and I ended it by saying, that British wrestling owes this man a massive debt, and just for the production side alone, it jumped forward light years because of his input. And I basically said, yeah, they owe this man a debt because of that. And Len being the sort of guy who was, I don't see him being the sort of person who would really try and collect on that unless it was something he specifically works on. Um, at which point, if I know from experience, if he didn't get paid, he just was like, I'm not gonna hold it against them. I'm just keeping the footage, which is entirely fair. He got paid if he didn't get paid for the job, he wouldn't give the job up. It's simple enough. So yeah, like I said, he was the owner he was the owner of Real Quality Wrestling. He upped the British production levels to such a level. They a lot of a lot like the European stars you see on TV now have probably experienced yeah, the best spotlight they possibly could have before they went to America, solely because of him. Oh, and Japan as well. So you've got names like I don't know, Pac and Drew McIntyre, Kip Sabian on AEW. You've got Zack Sabre Jr. over in New Japan. There are just these are people who we sort of dealt with directly. Sheamus in WWE is another one. I could, if I sat down and thought about it, I could come up with a fairly long list of people who wrestling fans would know, uh, even if even if it's just a case of they've seen them on NXT results or they actually headline WrestleMania like Drew McIntyre. But yeah, they're people that wrestling fans would know who were helped out because of the quality of the footage that Len Davies was able to capture of them, working for both RQW and various productions outside of RQW that Len was involved with, like WW up in Norfolk, IPW down in Kent. Did a lot of work for the FWA, which was, although based in Portsmouth, it became a national thing, especially when Len got involved and helped them up their production to an insane amount. People often say how the FWA, some of their footage just looked the best, and Len's involvement, especially in the latter days, really, really helped solidify that. Um, then, of course, he sort of decided in his late 50s he was going to try and break Hollywood. He went over there. I brought up his IMDb list on the last video, and if you've not watched it, give it a click. It's an interesting song. He even wrote a book about it, called Hollywood or Bust, which I mean, he didn't go bust out there. He managed to keep going. So he must have been doing something right. Uh, yeah. Um, so, but yeah. So let's just. Well, so that's who Len was. Um, musically, well, let's find out. Let's give it another roll. Uh, see how this one sort of pans out. This one, because Invitation for a Dream was done as a soundscape, sort of as an introduction to the album. I'm expecting this one to be a bit more, yeah, just straightforward rock and roll. The sort of stuff that I freaking love. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Okay, so this is Drop me a line. Um, First time I met Len, he sort of still had his hair long. He's actually when he started doing the acting thing, he sort of had what I think of as like kind of old school 70s rocker hair. Kind of you sort of see the people who were in like that in like those stadium bands in the 70s who aren't as famous now, but still kind of think they are. That's the sort of hair he had when I first met him, and that is exactly the sort of music I'd expect to hear from someone who had hair like that. Um, yeah. I don't know what he's done to his voice. I've got like sounds like the oh, he sounds just like on a lower register to what I'd kind of expect him to be singing. It sounds like you can get like various sort of vocal effects, like you can get with guitar effects, we can sort of lower like the octave of the guitar, and it sounds like that's what he's doing here, which is um with with his history in production, that's exactly the sort of thing I'd expect him to play around with. It's like could just do it straight rock and roll, or we could have some fun, make some noise, and see what comes out. I'm starting to wonder if this was ever sort of dedicated to anyone. I, I mean, I didn't ask him about his relationships because he's not when he's not with someone at the time. You don't. It's one of those things. It seems like it could be quite painful to bring up things in someone's past. So, whenever we really went into previous relationships, I'm just wondering if this is aimed at a particular person. Um, uh, Ah, well, one of my final thoughts. I guess I wish I could be at the funeral today. I'll always remember you, Len. Whatever's going on the other side, you're having a good time. Drop me a line if you ever change your mind.